can trade your labor in the future for money right now. So, for instance, I rob your house, and the amount that I'm supposed to pay back is $10,000. I don't have $10,000 because I'm out robbing houses, and chances are good there's a meth addiction involved.
Yep.
And so I contract with this pawn shop type organization to give me $10,000 to pay you for the judgment that has been passed down through the arbiter, and then that organization would give me, maybe 6 months or a year worth of my labor in the future to pay off that $10,000, and that's kind of how penitentiaries would work in a libertarian future. Are you saying that wouldn't exist?
Well, I'm saying that this may be a sort of contract, but like any other, if a moral reason arises for you, that requires you to break the contract, then you will and should break it.
So what's the moral reason? You just mean if they ask you to do something, like instead of making an army of people that sift through the garbage to find the valuable stuff, they instead make an army to actually take over, I don't know, a city or something? Is that the kind of moral thing you're talking about? Or are you just the morality of following your own self-actualization?
There could be a variety of moral reasons. For instance, suppose a moral reason, like it turns out you have another responsibility that you weren't considering that's much more important, like you have to save your family.
Yeah, my mom gets sick.
Right, your mom gets sick. So there may be other sorts of good moral reasons why you should break a contract.
But then you're still on the hook for what you owe for the contract, right? Like, if you broke the contract, there's some penalty typically in that, you were supposed to work for this pawn shop for however many more years. Well, now you owe us for whatever many years you're not going to be working, and so therefore you're still on the hook, right? You don't just get to walk away from your responsibility.
No, you still have a moral responsibility, for the contract you made. But I don't think this looks anything like our idea of slavery, because the human being is just too autonomous and has too many moral considerations to make that, it's not like slavery. I mean, in slavery in America, slave just had to do what he was told no matter what, and the slave owner could do anything he wanted to him, pretty much. So
yeah, no one's saying this is slavery.
What we're talking about now,
it's kind of close. I mean, I've said slavery multiple times during this conversation.
It's not slavery because you're entering in on your own volition. You're deciding what you're willing to do in return for what they're willing to do for you. In this case, to give you a bunch of money up front in return for your labor.
Chances are good if they do that sort of situation, they're going to put you in a place where leaving is going to be very difficult. And how does that look? So if you're put in some place with, barbed wire machine guns and, the whole deal, and it said, oh, sure, you can leave. Good luck. You really can't leave.
John?
Well, you can make really bad decisions that put you in a really bad situation.
Yes.
With or without. So.
That's true. John, thanks for the call.
You do that today.
Thanks for the thoughts. I appreciate it. Let's go to Ricky in Pennsylvania on Skype. Go ahead, Ricky.
Well, just real quickly before I speak to John and Ray, I did want to mention last call. I find it also that Jared and Ray also think it's okay to breach a contract. Fact is, it's not. It's never okay to breach a contract. And if somebody like our caller or Johnny Ray was holding that contract, I think they would definitely dispute that. Now, if I may answer your question even better, if you can swear away your rights, as the slaves say, and so forth.
Go ahead.
Okay, first example. Now, driver's license. Now, in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, here says it right on my ID, I have never accepted the driver's license. That goes back also to retaining my right to travel. Now, the moment that you accept it, you take an oath to the state. And in that instance, you waive your right to travel. But I got one even better.
Hold on. I think the right to travel is a very interesting discussion. And there is an argument that when somebody does sign up for the government's license, that they are, consenting into a system of control. However, I've never seen the argument of right to travel actually work in a government court. So I'm not sure how you stand on that right.
Well, I can actually point that out to another night, and I have in the
Well,
past.
we'd love to hear from you another night. Thank you for the call tonight. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. I hope somebody can prevail in a right-to-travel case. I've just never seen it happen.
I don't even know what it means precisely. You don't have the right to travel through my living room.
Exactly.
I mean,
we're talking about on government roads.
Right? Government? What?
The idea being that you should have a right to go from point A to point B without encumbrance, without having to ask some government bureaucrat's permission to do so, not to travel through your living room. We're not talking about private property here. More coming up here. You can share with us what you want. Free Talk Live.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
Earlier this year, after many years of conflict over the direction of Bitcoin, the creators of Bitcoin Cash did just what they were told to do. They forked off. Now there are 2 Bitcoins, the one that is run by the big bank patsies, and Bitcoin Cash, the one that stays true to the creator's vision. Bitcoin Cash has surprised many with its relevancy and staying power, and the price reflects it. If you believe that Bitcoin was meant to be a low-cost, easy-to-use, peer-to-peer currency that could bring economic freedom to the world, you need Bitcoin Cash. Get your Bitcoin Cash wallet right now at bitcoin.com.
Shop online and support Free Talk Live. Every purchase you make at shop.freetalklive.com helps spread a message of liberty. From shop.freetalklive.com, you can shop at places like Walmart, Newegg, Amazon UK, Amazon Canada, Omaha Steaks, HostGator, and more. Plus, you can get discounts on web hosting, legal documents, or pretty much anything using saveatpurse.com. Just bookmark the link and help Free Talk Live while shopping online. Thank you for shopping with shop.freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You can bring up anything you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. We can talk about inflation. That is the latest chapter that we got through here in Economics in One Lesson. We're going to do that coming up. Also, I want to let you know about the Blink home security system, where you can easily load up your household with Blink cams. In fact, you get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys will charge you for 1 security camera when you go to blinkprotect.com/FTL. You will not find, I suspect, an easier, simpler system to set up than the Blink home security system. All you need is your Wi-Fi enabled device, your phone, your tablet. Just connect to Wi-Fi. You connect actually to the hub that you plug into the wall. The one wire in the whole system is the power adapter for the hub, for the Blink home security system. All the cameras are wireless. They're battery operated. You pop the batteries in. You put them in the rooms in which you want to be recorded. You want to be monitored. You set your recording preferences. Do you want it to be a 5-second clip, a 10-second clip, 30-second, whatever you want. Then when it sees some action, it will, during the time frames you specify, will send you that clip to your smart device. So wherever you are, whether you're in the next room over or whether you are halfway across the world, you'll be able to monitor what's going on in your home. Blinkprotect.com/FTL. If you got a small office, I think this will work well for that too. Blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. As we continue here, we were going to discuss the question of inflation, which was one of the lengthier chapters in the book Economics in One Lesson by Henry Hazlitt. And, of course, a lot of this book is very familiar to those of us who've been discussing things like inflation and the minimum wage and unions. So it's hard to go through this and really see it as, at least from our perspective, a real eye-opener. But for a lot of people who maybe are new to economics, I think it would be a very eye-opening book to read. It tends to be, for the most part, pretty down to earth, pretty easy to understand. It can get a little highfalutin at times, but for the most part, I find myself generally comprehending the things that Hazlitt is saying. And he gets into the chapter in this case for me is chapter 23, called "The Mirage of Inflation," and he talks in this chapter about the different advocates for inflation. And there's like the people who are calling for the government to inflate the money supply. For listeners that don't know, that's what inflation is, where it's not the increase in prices. That's a symptom of inflation. Inflation is the increase in the supply of money, meaning printing out more money into existence, in this case from the Federal Reserve, the government making those choices, not just in the U.S., but in any country around the world where they do this, and they do it in all of them. And the economic fallout and consequences that come from that. And there's different people who realize different levels of the fallout from inflation, and they have different excuses as to why they support inflation. Some of them coming straight from ignorance, some of them just straight up lying or deceiving themselves about the economic consequences of inflation. And
of
course,
some of them believe that it's basically just free money.
They really believe that.
Yeah, and that when you put it into the economy, it just does good things because it's like, Mark, wouldn't your life be better if you had $100,000 today that you didn't have yesterday?
I'd like that, yeah.
And that basically that's all that's happening is you're getting that, and now you're going to have an extra house maybe or another couple of cars, and that if you did that for everybody, it would just be an unmitigated success.
One of the things he starts out talking about is the difference between wealth and money. And I think that was a really important part of this chapter, because he identifies that most people, even some economists, will mix up these terms because they seem so interchangeable, because we measure, in a lot of ways, the wealth that we have, we measure it in dollars. And that's not the best way to do it. It's not accurate at all, because wealth is much more than money. It is the things that we have. It is the abilities that we have. The fact that we have air conditioning and heat, for instance, makes us far more wealthy than the people who did not have those things in the past. The fact that we have the ability to communicate instantaneously around the entire globe, again, is a level of wealth that is hard to calculate the value of something like that, But you know that you could look at certain things, like, for instance, the fact that it used to cost however much per minute back in 1980 or 70 or whatever to make a long-distance phone call, and now those prices have gone significantly down. So there would be some ways to calculate how, the information revolution or evolution that we've had has reduced costs, which thereby increases the amount of money that you have to spend. But it's still sort of this incalculable, intangible thing of you have instantaneous communications with anyone anywhere in the world, and now with forms of currency like cryptocurrency, you have instantaneous ability to send money anywhere around the world. So again, the abilities that we have to achieve things, the products that have been created through human ingenuity, and then those products, making new products from those products, and always having ideas combined with existing wealth brings more wealth. The wealth pie is constantly expanding, but it's not because of money being printed. That's not why the wealth pie is expanding. That doesn't do anything to expand wealth. It just the money that comes out from the printing press chases around that same amount of products and goods, and so you see prices rise. And he gets into a lot of detail about how those prices can go up and how it is that certain groups will benefit from inflation in the moment, meaning that, Johnny Ray, you gave the $100,000 example. If you were the printing press, if you were the Federal Reserve, and Mark was the recipient of the freshly printed $100,000, Mark would, for the moment, benefit directly from that. You would have additional purchasing power that your neighbors did not have, and you would be able to go out and buy a boat or, a fancy car or whatever, and then that
But
money
I would make decisions in the marketplace that would be perverse because of all this free money.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
At some point, it would all collapse in on me. This is what happened during the housing bubble here in the United States. Banks are the ones that get the free money from the government
first.
Yep, first. They began, to some extent because politicians made them, giving loans to people who had no business. I got one of these loans. You essentially only had to have a heartbeat, and they didn't check that. There's no-doc loans. I had a no-doc loan. Why? Because it's easier not to show your documentation to the loan officer than it is to show your documentation. Sure. I didn't have to go home and get my tax returns. I just stated my income, and that was the end of the story.
Wow,
and
good old days.
Yeah, that was the way it was. But those people, the banks, were flush with money, and they were given orders by the government, who was, of course, also flush with money. This could never happen. This is the American dream. This could never collapse in upon itself, and sure enough, it did.
Yeah, and they do talk about the consequences down the line of how, even though the individuals who get the money from the printing presses first, the military-industrial complex, the banks, these are the people who receives the industries who receive the payouts, that they may benefit in the moment, but others are suffering from that, and ultimately, at some point, the piper has to be paid economically, and the malinvestments that come from this extra money coming in places where it shouldn't, that all has to get settled out at some point, and people will lose their jobs, businesses will go under, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's usually the people paying the brunt of the tab, or the people at the bottom, who see the money last, but they see the price inflation earlier than they actually get their cut.
Let's talk more about it coming up, and including hyperinflation. He addresses that, which was also an interesting part of this chapter. We'll share more with you from Economics in One Lesson coming up on Free Talk Live.
Guys, wouldn't your wife or girlfriend love it if you treated her to the very best this Christmas? Well, you can, and you don't even have to go out of your way. We're talking about the world's softest pajamas, available exclusively at pajamagram.com. That's pajamagram.com. Created by a team of dedicated pajama experts, the world's softest pajamas are lighter than a cloud, softer than a bunny, like cashmere, only better. She'll love the way the world's softest pajamas feel, and you'll love the way they look. More than a gift, they're a feeling, an invitation to relax a little longer. The world's softest pajamas are available only at pajamagram.com. Visit today and give her a gift that keeps on giving, to both of you. Plus, you don't even have to wrap, because every Pajamagram includes free gift packaging, and Christmas delivery is guaranteed. So visit pajamagram.com or call 1-800-GIVE-PJs.
Tomorrow's my big day. I'm going to go in for surgery, and hopefully you'll come along. Now, I do have to admit that I am in a bit of pain, so I'm really looking forward to this procedure. I think we're both going to find out that having surgery just isn't as scary as it sounds.
We're covering our own Jim Haggerty's kidney stone removal surgery, and his surgery is now just minutes away. So, Dr. Atka, tell us what precautions we would take to prevent us from getting kidney stones.
Always stay hydrated. Water helps the kidneys break the stuff down.
Ah, hear that, Jim? More water.
What?
More water. Maybe we should replace your coffee.
Please go away. Please. Ow, no.
That's a camera they're going to use to film the whole surgery from inside Jim's
Yes,
body,
that's going to
right?
be pushed into Jim's urethra as well. Now, normally they wouldn't do this. This is purely for the benefit of us watching it on TV.
All right, stick with us because first he's going to pop into the children's ward to cheer up some youngsters suffering from terminal illnesses.
This is the Onion News Network.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll-free to join us on the radio waves here. Live Sunday edition. The number's 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. We've got Skype. And you can Skype into the show here at Skype username LRN.FM. Of course, you can go shopping with Free Talk Live this holiday season. You can go to shop.freetalklive.com. And you can order stuff through our Walmart link there. And Free Talk Live will get a portion of the purchase price when you do that. There are also some other links like Newegg and Amazon Canada and UK. So head over to shop.freetalklive.com. You can get your holiday shopping taken care of. Don't have to deal with any of the hassles of actually going out into real life and the parking lots and the lines and the out-of-stock problems and all of that. So just go to shop.freetalklive.com and get your shopping taken care of. As we continue, joining you in the studio here tonight, you've got me, Ian.
Me, Johnny Ray.
Me, Mark.
We've been talking about economics in one lesson. It's a great book written in the 1940s originally by Henry Hazlitt. It's been updated, I think, in the 1970s since then. And we're kind of getting through it here into Chapter 23, where we've been talking about what he calls the mirage of inflation, this endlessly attractive political thing that politicians have been constantly doing forever because it seems, a lot of them believe to benefit people that, well, gosh, if we print out more money, then everybody just gets more money, and then everybody's wealthier. But the problem is, when you print more money, you get more money chasing the same amount of goods and services, and so the price goes up. It may not go up instantaneously, But as that new money filters into the system and goes from hand to hand to hand to hand, it starts, to people start adjusting their prices upward. And
I mean, it's pretty obvious if you take some kind of island, where there's a small economy, and it's only a cash economy, and you suddenly double the amount of cash in the economy. It's pretty clear that coconuts and slingshots are going to cost twice as much cash at some point in the relatively near future, because now there's twice as much money in play.
Yeah, and I thought one of the other interesting parts about this chapter was his discussion about hyperinflation. And we've certainly talked about what's happening in Venezuela, which is the least worth anything currency, or the most worthless currency.
I'd say that's the most worthless currency
in the world today. And they are definitely in a state of hyperinflation. We've been following that story for quite a long time, and anybody who wants to go and look at the current exchange rates for the Venezuelan bolivar should go to dollartoday.com, where you're getting a better deal this week than last week. It's actually gone down a little bit. You used to get 100,000 bolivars to $1, and now it's only 92,000 bolivars to $1. So it's a better week there in Venezuela. But what he talks about here in the book is the idea that when hyperinflation hits, it has more to do with the people and their belief about the money than it does with how much they're printing. So, I mean, generally when we think about inflation, we think, well, when the government doubles the money supply, then you can expect that prices might be doubling as a result of that over time, roughly. I mean, there's different factors to play in, but the prices are going to go up sort of concomitant to some extent with how much gets printed. But that's not always true, because the prices of things have a lot when it comes to fiat money, which has no real backing whatsoever. It's just accepted because of the threat of violence, typically. That's what legal tender is. The idea is that as people perceive the drops in value of that fiat money, they get more and more desperate, and they start to perceive the money is worth less than than they otherwise would have perceived, and that's why you get a hyperinflation situation. So you're combining the people's beliefs that are changing about the money with the fact that they're also increasing the money supply, and it just spirals out of control.
Sure, since money is backed by nothing, in modern day, money is backed by nothing. It's the full faith of the people that cause it to remain stable, if that makes sense. The stability comes from people.
It's a collective belief.
You don't see a lot of fluctuation in pricing when you're going to the grocery store. There's some, but not a whole bunch.
Well, right, because most people are fine in the United States with holding on to dollars, even though at some level they understand that over time they have become worth less.
Sure,
they don't have the perception that it's a dramatic week-to-week drop. Whereas if you're in Venezuela, 1 week to the next, that sandwich is going to cost you twice as much in certain circumstances as what you paid the week prior.
Right.
And when that sort of mindset changes, it really affects the value of the fiat currency. At least that's what he was saying in the chapter. I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah, mostly what I remember is that he got a little more poetic in this chapter than in some of the other ones, talking about how inflation gives birth to 1,000 illusions.
Mm-hmm.
And where he described at the beginning of the chapter, he's saying there are some people who believe it's an unmitigated good to print money. There are other people who believe basically that when you put extra money into without ramping up production in any way, if production is the same but you add money, it just very quickly
washes out into higher prices.
Yeah, but he said no, that's not the case. Unfortunately, it's a lot more destructive than that, because in the transition period, what happens is, for example, if you give money to war contractors, that's the example he used, they get that money at the prevailing rate at the time. They're getting high-powered money that is worth what it is on the day that it was printed.
Right.
And then the extra demand for the goods that they produce raise their prices. They spend that money, say, in Washington real estate, and then the money gets to those people. The price of real estate in Washington goes up, and they're getting. And those people are getting relatively high-powered money. It's not quite as valuable as it was when it was first issued, but that goes on and on down the line as the prices are inflated. The people at the very end, the little guys, they see the money coming to them in the form of higher wages or government programs or whatever at the end of the line, and this whole time the prices of things that they buy have been going up.
That's right.
And
so they get hurt
at the very end. Yeah, at the very end of the process, it equals out for them. But in the meantime, they've been getting the shaft. So it doesn't affect everyone equally.
Correct. I thought his wrap up in the chapter was also very good, so I'm just going to share that one here for you. He talks about how that inflation is a form of taxation. We've said that a million times here on Free Talk Live. He says it's perhaps the worst possible form, which usually bears hardest on those least able to pay. On the assumption that inflation affected everyone and everything evenly, which as we've seen is never true, it would be tantamount to a flat sales tax of the same percentage on all commodities, with the rate as high on bread and milk as on diamonds and furs. Or it might be thought of as equivalent to a flat tax of the same percentage without exemptions on everyone's income. It's a tax not only on every individual's expenditures, but on his savings account and life insurance. It is, in fact, a flat capital levy without exemptions, in which the poor man pays as high of a percentage as the rich man. So what you see is that the poor, those who are not politically connected in a lot of cases, are getting the shaft even more so on this. Sort of like with the sales tax, a rich person can easily absorb, sales tax hits, but a poor person might make or break them as far as, getting their rent paid at the end of the month. But he says the situation is even worse than this because, as we've seen, inflation does not and cannot affect everyone evenly. Some suffer more than others. The poor are usually more heavily taxed by inflation in percentage terms than the rich, for they do not have the same means of protecting themselves by speculative purchases of real equities. Inflation is a kind of tax that is out of control of the tax authorities. It strikes wantonly in all directions. The rate of tax imposed by inflation is not a fixed one. It cannot be determined in advance. We know what it is today, but we do not know what it will be tomorrow, especially if hyperinflation kicks in. And tomorrow, we shall not know what it will be on the day after. And there's a little bit more here. We'll share that with you coming up here, and you can share your thoughts with us, whether it's about economics or whatever happens to be on your mind. Our toll-free number here is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. More Free Talk Live coming up. You can join us.
Whether you share content as a curator or produce it as a creator, the source of your advertising revenue is often limited by intermediaries like YouTube. What if there was a way to connect content creators directly with advertisers, decentralizing attention-based market advertising transactions and putting the control back into the hands of content owners? Introducing the revolutionary Signal Token Protocol by Spective VR. Partnered with Blend Media, the largest network of 360 video content in the world, and featured on Fox Business's Innovations, Spective VR is a 360 VR streaming platform created to be the first use case and early adopter of the Signal Token Protocol, driving real use and allowing Spective to optimize their platform. SpectiveVR.com is hosting a pre-ICO for Signal tokens starting December 8th at a 40% bonus. For early access to the token sale and an exclusive 60% token bonus, sign up for the email list at SpectiveVR.com.
Guys, wouldn't your wife or girlfriend love it if you treated her to the very best this Christmas? Well, you can, and you don't even have to go out of your way. We're talking about the world's softest pajamas, available exclusively at Pajamagram.com. That's Pajamagram.com. Created by a team of dedicated pajama experts, the world's softest pajamas are lighter than a cloud, softer than a bunny, like cashmere, only better. She'll love the way the world's softest pajamas feel, and you'll love the way they look. More than a gift, they're a feeling, an invitation to relax a little longer. The world's softest pajamas are available only at Pajamagram.com. Visit today and give her a gift that keeps on giving, to both of you. Plus, you don't even have to wrap, because every Pajamagram includes free gift packaging, and Christmas delivery is guaranteed. So visit Pajamagram.com or call 1-800-GIVE-PJs.
the warning signs.
At first, he made me feel special. He promised he'd look after me, provide for my future. He broke every promise he made.
Millions of Americans afflicted.
I was ready to leave, but he told me he'd change. So I gave him another chance. I was such a fool.
The consequences.
Things only got worse. He started making my decisions for me. About my job, my kids' education, my money, my safety, my future. He took away my choices, but I kept going back to the same politicians.
The diagnosis? Battered voter syndrome.
I fell for the same old lies. They were just playing with my emotions, telling me what I wanted to hear. That's not right.
If you're tired of the two-party system but want to support a principled Libertarian Party, check out the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire at lpnh.org. That's lpnh.org. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road underground market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, dial toll free. Join us here in the remaining moments. We've got time for you if you want to get on at 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Ian, Johnny, Ray, and Mark in the studio talking about Henry Hazlitt's book Economics in One Lesson. We're getting down to the I think we got what, 3 chapters maybe left to go here, maybe 4, but we're getting down there. We're talking about inflation, the insidious tax on everybody and everything, the tax that just taps out all of your value, everything that you've created. It makes everything more expensive in society as more money chases around the same amount of goods. And it actually, for people that are aware that the dollars or whatever your fiat currency of choice is that you are using, for people that are aware that the value of those things is going down, that's a disincentive to savings. So if you know that the value of your savings is depleting, you are less likely to have savings because you would be more incentivized to spend rather than to save. And that's not a good thing.
Well, the whole marketplace, whether they know it or not, reacts to inflation by minimizing savings. I remember the statistic, I think it was from 2005, but I'm just going to go ahead and quote it. You can check me and tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm not too far off. Is that in the year 2005, the height of pumping money in, the housing, bubble and all that other stuff, Americans spent more than they made. It was like 104% or 102%. That part I'm not 100% sure on. But literally, no savings was going on from a sort of a macro perspective.
Isn't that typical? That was unusual. I figured that's what Americans typically did. Was
Americans are saving
maybe not
better
necessarily going into negative savings rates.
Yeah.
Well, isn't getting a credit card debt basically spending more than you make?
Yes.
Yeah. Americans have had problems with that for a long time.
Yes, but you weren't talking about it on an entire nationwide level.
Okay.
And yeah, sure. Right. Even now, I don't have the statistics sitting in front of me, but I think it's fewer than half have $1,000 put away, and fewer than 40%. Like for the 40% of Americans don't have $400. $1,000. Half of Americans don't have $1,000 that they can put their hands on, and
that's true.
Yeah,
and it's from the culture. It's from inflation where psychologically you understand that saving your money doesn't help, and that's just a way to lose money. So you need to spend it instead.
Because money isn't wealth.
That's correct.
The thing that you buy with money is wealth. And in some cases that's a depreciating asset. In other cases it's an appreciating asset.
Rarely.
There's very few things out
Bitcoin.
there. Yeah, gold.
Gold's up and down, but I guess up over time. Anyway, like every other tax, just the final statement here. Inflation acts to determine the individual and business policies we're all forced to follow. It discourages all prudence and thrift. It encourages squandering, gambling, reckless waste of all kinds. It often makes it more profitable to speculate than to produce. Sounds like Bitcoin. It tears apart the whole fabric of stable economic relationships. Its inexcusable injustices drive men toward desperate remedies. It plants the seeds of fascism and communism. It leads men to demand totalitarian controls, and it ends invariably in bitter disillusion and collapse. I thought it was a pretty interesting chapter that really got into the details on inflation. If you want to check the book out, you can do that. It's free to read online. There are PDFs available, Economics in One Lesson. Any other observations, Johnny Ray, that you wanted to share from?
No, you covered it.
All right, well, let's go to your calls and thoughts. John has been waiting patiently here in New Orleans. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, John.
Hey, guys. Good to talk to y'all.
Thanks. Go ahead.
I have a story that I wanted to relay to you guys about an experience I had with the U.S. Postal Service. Although, before I go into that, I'd like to say your current topic is just amazing, and I wish more people understood exactly how money printing worked and the ravages of inflation. I wish more people understood that dynamic, because if more people did, I think we'd have a different discussion going on in politics.
Well, as they continue to inflate the money supply, more people will figure it out as their wealth continues to be tapped away from them by the insidious wealth transfer known as inflation. Anyway, go ahead with what were you calling about?
Okay, so a quick little bit of background. I live in New Orleans, and I've got a couple acres up in Mississippi, and I go camping. And, when I go, I bring my dogs with me because, they love it, and, they get to be dogs instead of penned up in my yard. But one of them decided to take a hike, and we lost her and don't know where she is. So, we look for her, and, well, eventually you have to go home because you got to go back to work to feed into the inflation industry. Yeah. But anyway, so I go back the next week, and I printed up some flyers. And I figured, well, hey, let's go ahead and target the area where she was. And so I went and put them in the post boxes, because, I don't want to do a bulk mailing. I just want to say, hey, the people that live in this, square mile area, I want to target those people because maybe they would see my dog. So anyway, a week goes by again, and I go back up there, and I actually see a mail delivery person, and I actually stop her because, I'm like, hey, this is someone who drives around this whole area every single day. Maybe she's seen my dog. And so I show her the flyer, and she's like,
that was you.
We've seen these. She's like, you're not supposed to put these in the mailboxes. And I said, I know, I lost my dog. I'm just trying to, she's like, if you have to pay for that. And I'm like, really? And, so anyway, that's the story.
Well, at least she didn't call the postal inspectors and have you arrested, because I'm pretty sure that's like some sort of crime. That's what I've heard.
Is it really?
I've heard that. I don't know if it's a misdemeanor or a felony or what. I've never actually done the research. But I've heard that a few times in my life, that it's some sort of a criminal offense to put things into postal boxes. Maybe it's only criminal if it's commercial. I don't know. I'd be interested in learning a little bit more about that, honestly. I don't know anything more than just hearing rumors because I've never researched it.
I suspect that it's all criminal.
My concern is that, in the country, and this is really country, where someone has a quarter-mile drive to their house, you don't just go walk up unannounced. You might get shot or something. So I figured the mailbox was a good option for me. But anyway, apparently I did a no-no.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I remember doing that as a kid, too. I forget I had some kind of flyer for whatever purpose that I had to get to the neighbors in the neighborhood for some reason. I don't know I think my parents were on like one of those neighborhood associations or something like that. But I don't remember what I was promoting. But I was putting it in people's mailboxes, and some people actually were sitting in their front yard having a party, and they yelled at me for it, like, you're not allowed to do that. I'm like, okay, thanks. Kept doing it as I walked down the street.
Yeah.
Hey, John, thanks for the call tonight, man. I appreciate
you guys would appreciate that.
hearing
Have a good
from
night.
you. We do, and thank you. The toll-free number tonight is 855-450, free like freedom.
Speaking of people just sort of randomly walking up long driveways, you know that I have a relatively long driveway.
You do. Yeah.
I
live
can't
in the
remember
woods.
exactly when this was, but it was a few years ago, and the sheriff was running for state senate. You remember this situation?
Yeah, he lost, I believe.
I think
this is the guy who gave a no trespass order to me and Derek J. and several other activists in Derek J.'s victimless crime spree. His name's Dick Foot.
That's right. Dick Foot came up my driveway, was walking up to my house. I'm out there, shirtless, splitting wood, and my wife and child happen to be out there near me at the time. They're not always out there when I'm splitting wood. I can do that by myself. But I turned and I see the sheriff walking up my driveway, and I said, "Dear God, Laura, it's the law."
How was he dressed? Was he dressed?
He was dressed as somebody who was campaigning.
Okay,
so
not as the sheriff.
Had a tie and that sort of thing. But I knew who he was, and I'm sure that it's a relatively low percentage, maybe into double digits, but relatively low percentage of people in Cheshire County know who their sheriff is on site.
Yeah.
And especially not in uniform.
It's probably higher here than it is in a higher populated place, but yeah, it's still low.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And I suspect that he was surprised to even be recognized.
Right.
And, so he's, kind of waved and started his campaign spiel. And I said, "Before you go on there, Dick," I said, we mailed our ballots in already and we voted. So you can say whatever you want. I just want to let you know.
I thought Eli Rivera was the sheriff.
He is.
Okay.
He is now.
He is.
But prior to that occurring, it was Dick Foot.
Oh, okay.
And so...
and then he retired after he soundly lost in court, had his no trespass order, which was clearly illegal, overturned by Judge Burke.
So anyway, he... we did vote for him because the choices really, really sucked, as you'll recall.
Yeah, they tend to suck.
Yeah, and he was going to be better on homeschooling, which is my fundamental issue on a state level, than Molly Kelly. So I voted for him.
All right, but anyway. Nobody knows who that is. We'll see you tomorrow online. In the meantime, you can join us over at freetalklive.com, and then let's see, next week, Johnny Ray, we've got
Assault on Savings.
Thank you. The Assault on Saving, that would be Chapter 24 in Economics in One Lesson. You can read along with us. Just go Google it. You'll find it there. We'll see you tomorrow. freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
The Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, December 8th, 2017. Silver is trading at $15.76 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,249 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 7 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $16,804. Antiwar.com reports that Saudi warplanes continue to pound the Yemeni capital city of Sana'a at an increased rate on Thursday, while operations on the ground appear to have shifted southwest, with pro-Saudi forces attacking coastal areas held by the Shiite Houthi movement. Reports out of the Quqqa district on the Red Sea coast of Yemen say that pro-Saudi forces have more or less entirely captured the area, which includes a town and a small fishing port. At least 25 were killed in the fighting. The district itself is of limited value, but the push is in keeping with Saudi-led efforts to conquer as much of the Yemeni coast as possible to ensure that shipments of food and medicine into the country are done more or less exclusively under their control. Fishing ports notwithstanding, the Houthi movement has only a single port at Hodeidah, which would need food and medicine imports for 15 million people in northern Yemen. A Saudi blockade, however, allows a tiny fraction of that in. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Congress passed a short-term spending bill Thursday to prevent a government shutdown as Republicans attempt to reach a budget bill with Democrats by the end of the year. Senators approved the bill by a vote of 81-14 an hour after the House passed it on a vote of 235-193, keeping the federal government open through December 22nd. Representative Mike Simpson of Idaho said a vote against the resolution is a vote to shut down the government, while admitting a short-term funding measure is not ideal. President Donald Trump met with Speaker Paul Ryan of Wisconsin, Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi of California, and Senate Democrat leader Chuck Schumer of New York in hopes of pushing forward negotiations on a 2-year budget deal. Pelosi and other Democrats have stressed including deportation relief for Dreamers, recipients of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival program, in their negotiations. She said, "We will not leave here without a DACA fix." Trump was expected to encourage congressional leaders to keep anything related to DACA out of a budget negotiation, while pushing to increase defense spending without boosting non-defense funding, and convince Democrats to agree to his border wall. Trump said, "We hope that we're going to make some great progress for our country. I think this will happen." 2 Florida Republicans said they would vote against any year-end spending bill that did not include an immigration deal. Schumer said those demands were unlikely and a shutdown would reflect poorly on Trump and Republicans. Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system and to fully capitalize on that decision in their fundraising efforts. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com. Reuters reports a federal judge on Thursday sentenced Larry Nassar, the former USA gymnastics team doctor accused of sexually assaulting gymnasts, to 60 years in prison on federal child porn charges that grew out of a sex abuse investigation. U.S. District Judge Janet Neff in Grand Rapids, Michigan, handed down the sentence sought by prosecutors who said there was a link between Nassar's child pornography and his prolific molestation of children, according to court documents. Neff said he has demonstrated that he should never again have access to children. Nassar's attorney, Matt Newberg, said he was devastated and remorseful. Nassar pled guilty in July to possessing thousands of images and video of child pornography depicting children as young as infants between 2003 and 2016. Nassar is also set to be sentenced in January in Michigan courts after pleading guilty to additional counts of criminal sexual conduct related to allegations he assaulted girls under the guise of medical treatment. At that hearing, all of the more than 120 victims or their parents will be allowed to give impact statements. Nassar is likely to spend the remainder of his his life in prison. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Thomas the Tank Engine says he's a little uneasy with his broad autistic following, and a couple has a nest egg of debt to make sure they've got some money to owe down the road. This is the Onion Week in Review. Local video editor James Korf told reporters Wednesday that despite having said goodbye over 10 minutes ago, his friend, Michael Woodward, still remained active on GChat and had shown no signs of leaving.
If it were yellow, it would mean that he hasn't been on the computer for a little while, or if it was red, it would mean he doesn't want to talk, but it's green. I can tell. I can see it right there.
Korf later said that he felt briefly relieved when Woodward's chat logo turned orange, but was once again dejected when it became green within seconds. And in this week's op-ed pages, a high school guidance counselor laments the fact that no one in his entire damn school has been molested. In other news, a bedbug feels bad for an area man, but a bug's gotta eat. A development exec wants to see what, where, and how that would look, live, and play out, and a man at the gym is just watching TV. For more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
This is the Onion News Network.
How we doing tonight, y'all? This is Will Coley. Welcome to the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. Broadcasting live from the Liberty Studios here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire, in our little crypto community. Had a wonderful snow the other day. Snowed. Oh my good Lord, did it snow here? Oh wow. I mean, like, I just moved up here, and what we saw was the kind of snow that would have shut down Knoxville. We got like 6 inches at least before nightfall, and right, and another 3 or 4 after the sun went down. And I'm looking outside, and I'm looking at my wife, and I'm like, this would have shut down Knoxville for a week. And you just see traffic up and down the street like nothing's going on. It's like, what? You gotta be.
I mean, were you at least able to get milk and bread? Tell me you got milk and bread.
What? I never get into that whole like freak out over milk and bread thing anyway.
Well, that's why you're going to die a young death.
I know.
You don't have your milk sandwiches for when, when the snow gets bad.
As you guys can hear, I am joined tonight by my host, as always, broadcasting from the beautiful Smoky Mountains of East Tennessee, Mr. Tom Gray. You doing all right tonight, Tom?
I am.
You guys got snow before we did, man. I can't believe that.
Yeah. There was a dusting, and there was literally no canned soup to be found at the Walmart by Friday night. That's not an exaggeration. We went to Walmart for something completely different. Right. I wanted some canned soup. I was like, honey, I'm going to take the kids over to the toy section, go get us some soup. I come back, and she has the most random collection of soups, and I'm like, what the heck? She says, well, they didn't have anything else. I didn't know Campbell's made tomato bisque.
You're so fired. And you also hear over there laughing in the background, we hear Miss Aria Demezio from theanarchistgmail.com and now from CryptoCheck, right? Isn't that what it's called now, Aria?
The website is cryptocurrencycheck.org, but yeah, on Facebook and Twitter it's just CryptoCheck.
And we have a guest tonight, a very special guest, as it were. We're going to be joined by the lead developer for Vertcoin this evening. Will be sharing with us his vision of a decentralized mining world when we get back after the first break. I'm really excited. Personally, it's a coin that I've been investing in. I've got a little over 40 of them, I think at this point, that I've bought over the course of the last, month. I've been following their upcoming quote-unquote halvening that is going to actually happen a couple days early. It'll be happening within the next 24 hours, they're saying, instead of happening when they thought it was going to be happening. So it's kind of like the fork. It's going to be coming a few days early. So But we're going to have that lead developer with us tonight, hopefully. We're working on getting him on the line with us. And let's see here. Oh, we're going to have our Libertarian Drama of the Week. Turns out Stefan Molyneux has nationalist syphilis. It's rotting his brain, turning him into a lunatic. Nationalist F-tard. I think that's our guest now. I'll unmute myself. Oh, awesome. See, it's almost like he's done radio before. See, I like this guy more the more than I know about him every time. So if you guys are listening here and you're hearing us in our international audience, please give just as much as our domestic when we ask you, because we're trying to get on a new satellite signal. It'll be covering most of the Middle East all the way up to eastern Pakistan. So yeah, it'll be the western border of India, and most of Europe, most of mainland Europe will also be covered as well. So much larger satellite radio audience than what we have now. Our satellite radio audience now is a prospective 300 million people. We're working on getting it a little bit larger, and the areas that we're going to be broadcasting to, if we can get on this new satellite, are they're areas that really need to hear the message of freedom and liberty. They really need to hear the message of decentralized economic activism, resisting the state control of their wealth and their economies. It's an idea that I've seen personally catch on so well overseas in my own work, and man, I just can't wait. I can't wait till we move to the 5 night a week format. What about you guys? I think it's going to be awesome.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome.
It's a step up.
Very interesting. I can't wait to see how we pull it off.
It's going to be interesting, that's for sure. I mean, the very first show that I did was a 4 to 7 show. So, I've done the 3-hour show. This will be my first time moving to prime time on weekdays, though. Most of the time I've done, like weekend shows like this. So it is going to be a whole lot of fun, that's for sure. And I am definitely looking forward to doing it with the two of you guys. But it is time for us to finally, in just a couple weeks.
Well, we're moving on up. Moving on up.
Sorry. We are moving up.
I was wondering how long you were going to let that go.
I know. The only problem is I didn't have it queued up yet, and I was waiting on the commercial to play so that I could finally turn it on. So yeah, man, finally moving on up. Finally going to be able to say that we're a primetime radio show. We'll be competing with the big boys for the big audiences. 6 people instead of 3.
But we love those 6 people.
I know, our 6 loyal listeners. They're our favorites. Oh, Lord. So, yeah, guys, we got the Libertarian Drama tonight. We're going to have the Vertcoin guys on with us tonight. Again, like I said, I'm super stoked. I've been watching this thing for about a month. I had a Muslim guy. He just called me out of the blue. Remember I told you like a month ago that the Yusuf Estes, of all people, like big Salafi imam, like those people hate me. Like those people hate me. Why are they calling me on the phone? And
because they think you can make the money. Duh.
Yeah, they're calling me for investment advice in cryptocurrencies, and yes, please, man, please call me. You want advice on investing? I will definitely tell you, put your money in cryptocurrency. Get your money out of war dollars. Get your money out of war dollars. Every penny that you spend to fund your charity group or open a mosque or put these Hajj packages together and all this kind of stuff. Every penny that you spend, you are contributing to the war machine, to that paradigm that exists today of debt and riba-based money, where the value of the money is directly connected to these central banker types who can just bottom out and just like a gigantic backhoe, just take chunks of your wealth away at a time, over and over and over again, with basically no no recompense whatsoever. There's nothing. The government just takes more of our money and gives them more of our money. You know, every time you spend dollars, you contribute to that. So get your money out of war dollars. Find a way to fund your charities. Find a way to fund your mosques. Find a way to fund your churches through cryptocurrencies. Find a way to break out of that paradigm. Find a way to get away. Get away. And Vertcoin is taking it even a step further and saying, you know what? Not only should we get away, but we should avoid the centralization of that which we use to get away. And stop what's going on with these large mining outfits and put the power of mining and the power of this beautiful thing back in to the blue collars and the dirty collars all across the world. And we'll get into that when we get back here on The Call to Freedom in just a few moments.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Free Talk Live.
We have been brought forward to bring out the truth.
I knew this was all right. What is the truth?
No, it's in the 2 books.
Oh, you've got to buy the books. Now, how much is somebody going to have to pay for these books?
It's right online. Depending on what country you're in, they're $26 a piece here in the United States, including freight.
Now, why would God put books out and require people to pay for them? What's the point in that? I mean, aren't there people out there that can't afford that?
Those of us here on Earth have had to put the material together and get it copyrighted and available.
Why would God want to copyright something? What's the point of that? I mean, wouldn't God want
anything on this planet has to be copyrighted to be put out legally by
That's
your
not true.
government
Not true
laws
at all.
on this
Not true,
planet.
sir. Nope. You can put
Will
whatever
you
you want
please let
out
me
there.
explain?
No, you let me explain, because whatever you want, you can put online, and nobody's going to tell you can't do it.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com. The 3 most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your favorite organizations, but make sure you give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
And we're back here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. Your host, as always, Will Coley, broadcasting live from the Liberty Studio here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire, with about 6 or 7 inches on the snow outside of the beautiful. Oh my goodness, it's just gorgeous here. It's like a Norman Rockwell painting. All these old, like late 1800, late 1700 houses everywhere, and the snow, and just it was so beautiful yesterday. I was so just taken by how pretty it is up here, especially being from East Tennessee and so partial to my own home. Definitely impressed by how it looks up here. So we're back here. We've got with us tonight Mr. Tom Gray, as always, and Miss Aria DiMezio from cryptocurrencycheck.com. And we've been joined tonight by a guest that I'm very happy to finally have on our show with us. James Lovejoy, if I'm saying that correctly.
Perfectly.
Very good. Mr. James Lovejoy is one of the developers, or basically the lead developer, for a coin that I've become quite interested in over the course of the last month or so. It was brought to me by a friend of mine. Not by a friend of mine, but by an acquaintance, and that called me kind of out of the blue, someone that I didn't really think I would ever interact with. And they just said, hey, why don't you look into this? And actually, it was something I was really, really interested in. Right now, Vertcoin's price, according to Coin Price Ticker, is sitting at around $8.21. That means it's about double what I first bought my first 10 Vertcoins at a few weeks ago. So I wanted to bring James on. I read about the concept of non-ASICs mining. I listened to a mutual friend of ours named Jason, or Froggy on Twitter. And he expressed your vision to me in such a passionate way that I really, not only did I want to invest more of my money into the Vertcoin project, I'm up to about 40 coins now, I think. But I wanted to bring you on so that you could share with our audience here what your vision is for the future of cryptocurrency via Vertcoin. So I guess my first question is how did you get started? Like, where did you come from in the crypto community? I hear you were a miner very young. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I guess I first started mining when I was around 13. So, I mean, for reference, I'm coming up to, 2013. So I'm coming up to 20 now. So, about 4 years ago now. When I first off started mining Bitcoin with just, my graphics card that I had in my computer. And, I tell you, I wish I had done that for longer and more diligently, because I would be significantly more wealthier now if that was the case. But eventually it just became, impossible. I was essentially getting no coins. So I moved over to Litecoin, whose purpose at that time, at least, was what Vertcoin's purpose is today, which is to be resistant to these, specialized mining devices that prevent the majority of people from being able to participate. But eventually, Litecoin sort of fell by the wayside as well, in very much the same way. And then I found Vertcoin, which was forked out of Litecoin at the time for the same reason, which was people were unhappy that they couldn't mine anymore. So they wanted to make a coin that, truly would stick to its word and stay as decentralized as possible. And that was in sort of mid 2014, and I've been there ever since. Starting off as just a community member, worked my way into the development team, and I guess I've been at the helm for about, it's coming up to like 2.5 years now.
Wow. So
yeah, it's been quite a journey.
So you went and you went in and you took a coin basically that was defunct. People had kind of given up on it, and you basically took it under your wing and made it your baby, and have
well. I think
on
the
it since
problem
then.
was sort of around the end of 2014, there was that big crash in Bitcoin price, and that sort of drove all of the interest and excitement and investment like out of the altcoin space generally.
Yeah.
So, Vertcoin was not the only one whose market cap, during that time, suffered somewhat. But, we were working behind the scenes, really just waiting for more interest in the space to arrive so that, altcoins could come to that prominent position again. And I think all that's, been demonstrated within the last sort of 6 months to a year is that, Vertcoin's mission that it set out to be, several years ago, the reason for its existence is really becoming clear, what with all of this forking that's going on in Bitcoin, the mempool and transaction fee manipulation, which ultimately is what Vertcoin sets out to solve, and it's only going to get worse as time goes on. So Vertcoin's going to become more and more relevant.
Now, you have this thing that's fascinating to me. That you or someone connected to your team developed, that basically, used to be mining, even back in the day when you were doing it when you were young, was something that you really kind of had to know what you were doing. You couldn't be me, who in my normal day I'm swinging a hammer or pushing sandpaper or pulling a paintbrush or delivering food. I'm not a computer guy at all, in any way, shape, or form. But your team developed something so that someone even as low on the totem pole technologically as myself could still become a miner. I could still find a way to enter the marketplace. Could you describe that?
I mean,
that
even
protocol?
now, it is true that you need to be somewhat more technically savvy in order to mine. But the end goal for us is to make mining, as easy as, I don't know, setting up a Sonos soundbar or something, where you just like plug it in and there's an app on your phone that does all the configuration for you. But it's actually really surprising. I mean, the biggest problem for not just us, but really all, cryptocurrencies in this space is that there's just so much money and so much interest, but hardly any developers actually, working on the products. So it's going to take time for us to get to that place where, it's ready for mass usage and, every layperson is able to mine and, make transactions and wallets. But we'll get there eventually. And, once we do, the banks better watch out, because there's going to be a very viable alternative to them.
All right, Tom, you're our guy that isn't usually particularly involved in the crypto markets. I want you to get in here and
well, I'll go ahead and share a question. Yeah, if I could share a question that we got from our users who are into crypto. One of them asked, I'm new into cryptocurrency. I'm trying to get Vertcoin, but I hate Bittrex, Bittrex. Are there any other reliable exchanges for Vert? Or going back to the discussion you and Will have been having, do you recommend just if you want to get into Vert, just setting up and mining it yourself rather than going through an exchange?
Yeah, I mean, myself, I've never actually bought a single Vertcoin. I've mined the vast majority of the ones that I have. But yeah,
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can't do that, and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring Simon to the rally.
Walk with me.
Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, hey,
Who do you think you are?
Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this hospital.
No, I have work today. This is...
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait a minute.
Whoa. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this?
Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. We've been joined tonight by James Lovejoy,
hey.
A developer for Vertcoin, a new coin that it's been around since about 2014 and has been devoted to the very noble cause, in my opinion, of the decentralization of mining and returning mining to the hands of normal folks and taking it out of the hands of like you need $3,000 for an electric bill and $10,000 on equipment in order to mine 0.2 bitcoins a year. If
that.
It's insanity. So we've decided to.
Wasn't always that way though.
Yeah, I know. I know you didn't used to be that way. It used to be
Well, that's what I'm curious
different.
about Vertcoin. I mean, they have it solved now, but going forward, the algorithm, the difficulty is going to continue increasing, and I would assume that the cost of mining are going to increase as well until it becomes prohibitively expensive for the average person.
Well, I mean, that's the big difference between Vertcoin and Bitcoin. I mean, the idea is to keep the marginal rate of mining. So that would be dollars per mega hash per second per day. The idea is to keep that roughly constant. So, no matter how high the hash rate goes, the price, expands to fulfill that additional demand. So, in terms of, as you guys like to say, war dollars, at least in terms of war dollars, the, reward should stay roughly the same as time goes on. But as you say, I mean, we don't have all the answers, and it is foreseeable that, as happened in the past, someone will create an ASIC for Vertcoin's algorithm, and then we'll be forced to hard fork to a new algorithm, which we did, once. Well, once already we hard forked away ASICs, and then a second time we hard forked away a botnet. So we've definitely set a precedent for following through on our commitments, which arguably makes the risk of developing an ASIC a lot higher, because that chances are we're going to hard fork to make it a very expensive paperweight before long.
Okay, for the uninitiated, what is an ASIC and why are you trying to avoid those?
So ASIC stands for Application Specific Integrated Circuit, and what it is it's a chip that is designed and fabricated to only mine Bitcoin, for example, or Litecoin. And because of that specialism, it's able to be several orders of magnitude faster than its equivalent commodity hardware, by which I mean graphics cards or CPUs. And the problem with that is the research and development cost of making an ASIC, along with the manufacturing costs, as well as things like trade secrets, makes it really impossible for any individual without massive amounts of investment to generate for themselves enough hash rate for it to be worth mining. So what we've seen in Bitcoin, at least, is there's like 2 or 3 companies that produce these ASICs, and they're essentially competing in a duopoly where they constantly battle it out to make faster and faster chips, which is why you see the hash rate of Bitcoin just increase irrespective of what the price is doing. It always goes up. And this is what makes that marginal rate of mining, that dollars per mega hash per second per day, decrease with time, because by the time you've bought an ASIC from these guys, 6 months later, it's not profitable anymore. So yeah, I mean, it's a big problem. I mean, I don't profess to have all the answers, but we've definitely set a precedent of hard forking away from ASICs. So I think anyone who is interested in doing that would think twice before investing significant sums of money in it.
Yeah, I love that. That's an awesome answer. Thank you.
So you've mentioned using graphics cards and other hardware for mining. Someone did ask, is there going to be a miner for Vertcoin release that works with AMD hardware, and specifically AMD Radeon graphics cards?
Yeah, definitely. That's coming up very soon. So yes, is the answer to that question. It will be released when it's ready. It's in the final stages of development.
And remember, this is one of the beautiful things about Vertcoin is it's an all-volunteer crew. Like these aren't like big mega millionaires. They're literally they're college kids. He's a student in MIT. He's talking to us from his dorm room. He's literally is a college kid who's putting, what spare time he has into trying to keep this coin what it is. So I mean,
I fundamentally believe. So I mean, I grew up during the financial crisis. Those were my formative years, and I guess as a result of that, I've got quite like a deep set skepticism for the value of the current financial system and the value that it provides. And as soon as I discovered this technology, I was just I suddenly became so committed to it, because I saw wow, we can just in software replace pretty much all of the current functions of the financial system. Once it works and it's all programmed right, and there aren't any bugs and there's good UI, I imagine that we can go to JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and clearing houses and stock exchanges and just turn the lights off and block the doors and put some houses for people to live in their place or something.
I mean, not literally. They might shoot you if you tried to do that without permission.
Well, the problem is
they won't be able to afford bullets by that point.
The problem with that, though, is that the ASICs mining and the expense of mining has basically created kind of a central bank. Like they have
exactly.
They have the ability to try to control
the cost of maintaining the Bitcoin network because of the cost of all of these ASIC chips has massively outstripped, in my opinion, the actual value that is stored upon Bitcoin. That comes from a multitude of factors. One being, the fact that there's this duopoly where, rather than having an efficient market outcome, you just have two people competing against each other, to try and get the most hash rate possible. You can't, with an ASIC, for example, you can't choose to move what is effectively your labor around. In the real economy, as a worker, you're free to go and work for whichever company you want, so you can demand the pay and working conditions that you deserve. But with ASICs, you're locked into a coin. You have no choice to mine that coin, and if that coin suddenly decides to do something you don't agree with, you've had it. That's the only coin it works with. At least with GPU mining, it gives you that choice, which I think will lead to a far more efficient market outcome in terms of hash rate.
Well, that's one of
the... One other question, let me get in, Will, because
Go ahead.
You talked a minute ago about how it's a volunteer team of programmers. We had someone ask in the chat room, what programming languages are you using with Vertcoin? And if somebody wanted to help you guys out in the development process, like the development of your UI, your UX, your mining platform, what languages would they need to know, and what sort of skill sets are you looking for?
I mean, really, like if you have a good conception of applications development and just programming generally, then you can be suited. I mean, we're pretty good at, I think, teaching people. I mean, most of the developers have come onto the team with very little crypto experience, at least. Maybe they have lots of experience in other computer science related fields. And then, we were able to get them up to speed pretty fast. But in terms of programming languages, I mean, we have projects in Python, Golang, C++, C, Node. We can definitely find places for people to fit in. Really, what we're just looking for from developers is, probably primarily initiative. We don't have the bandwidth to be micromanaging people. And dedication to the cause. We're looking for people who aren't interested in making tons of money. They're interested in building a new financial system.
All right. Well, when we get back here on the Call to Freedom, we'll have more with James Lovejoy, the young man behind the Vertcoin. When we get back here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
We're back here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. All right. It's been one heck of a show so far. We've got lots and lots of questions for our guest. We're being joined by Mr. James Lovejoy, who is the lead developer currently for Vertcoin, which is a coin that, like I said, I'm personally, full disclosure here, I am personally invested. I have about 40 Vert coins that I've bought over the course of the last month that I've converted other cryptocurrencies. I buy a little here and a little there, a little Litecoin here, a little Dogecoin there, a little Dash, a little Bitcoin Cash, a little Bitcoin Gold, convert it over into Vertcoin and just hodl. And we've got James Lovejoy, the developer. Love hearing what he's got to say so much that I've spaced out on, I think, two sets of bumpers now, not paying attention to doing my job, listening to what he has to say. And we've got a lot of questions. So I'm going to shut my big mouth and hand it back over to Tom, who's watching the chat room for us right now. If you've got a question and you want to call in, please call into the LRN Studio hotline through our Skype. Skype at lrn.fm studio and give us a call and we'll get you right on the air here on the Call to Freedom. Go ahead, Tom.
All right, I want to duck back to our question about wallets and exchanges because we didn't shift back to that on the last hour or the last segment. So we had a user who asked he wants to get into Vert. He doesn't like using Bittrex, and he asked about other reliable exchanges. And I think we talked about Shapeshift and then another one that Will uses.
No, that's Shapeshift. I have a Coinomi wallet, and basically I go to different people and buy $20 to $50 to $100 worth of different currencies, and then I just click on the little icon, the little the little three lines, and click Shapeshift, and go in and convert whatever it is that I bought. Like I just got some Dash, so I got 0.08 Dash, and I'll go over here and scroll down to Vertcoin and click on Vertcoin and then hit precise, and then that 0.08 Dash will buy me 7.16 more Vertcoin to go with the 41, or so I'll be close to 50 coin when I get done with this Shapeshift that I'm doing right now on the air.
Yeah, I mean, Shapeshift works, and, big advantage of Shapeshift is there's no KYC or AML to do. Disadvantage is they make you pay for it.
Yeah, basically.
But there's also Poloniex, that's another one. If you go on CoinMarketCap, they have the full list of exchanges that were on that, so it's the place to go if you want to know.
All right. Any what other questions we got over there, Tom?
And I think that answers another question we had. Where can we get Vertcoin if we don't have a mining set up right there through Shapeshift? Others are really just talking up Vertcoin in terms of its capacity, 4 times faster transactions than Bitcoin, 4 times the throughput, SegWit and LN compatibility, P2 pool mining. What are some other features you'd want to brag on that you haven't gotten to brag on yet about Vertcoin?
Well, one-touch mining. I would really like James to kind of go over the one-touch mining, concept and how it works. I tried to use it on. I have a computer with Linux Cinnamon, and it didn't really seem to work out very well. Like I tried to install it, and it just didn't do anything. I don't think I can even unpack it. I don't know. Like I said, I'm a tech illiterate, so I can send email, and I'm really good at trading, and that's really about it. So. But please explain the whole one-touch mining and how the programming works, and like what's the best program operating system you should have if you want to use it.
Well, the one-click miner itself actually only works on Windows, so you're pretty limited in that respect, at least from the one-click miner perspective. But the concept around it is to be a wrapper for the software we already use. Essentially, it just provides a graphical interface for what all the mining aficionados are doing manually with command line and text files and what have you. And the next incarnation from that is getting the one-click miner, into a wallet, so that you sort of have a Vertcoin hub of all things Vertcoin in one application.
Now, do you need Go ahead. Sorry, Arya.
Does the one-click miner work? With the last time I checked on the site, it said it was upcoming.
No, yeah, it's been around.
You can get it on GitHub. You can get it on GitHub, and there's like 20 different versions of it on GitHub. I got one that was supposed to work with Linux 64-bit, but I guess it's a different version of Linux than I'm running.
Yeah, I remember the one-click miner is definitely Windows only, so I don't know what you were trying to download with respect to that. But yeah, the OCM is on GitHub, and you can get it.
Awesome.
All right, we had a
do tonight.
We had a kind of a generalized question about speed, security, and decentralization. We've talked about decentralization, how it's independent development, and you're avoiding ASICs. But what would you tout as like the main security features of Vertcoin, especially versus other coins?
Security in what sense?
Privacy.
Yeah, privacy in particular.
Well, I think Vertcoin, deliberately tries to be, a drop-in replacement for Bitcoin. We don't think that really there's anything wrong with Bitcoin, massively, apart from these issues around decentralized mining. If it was up to us, Bitcoin would have a proof of work change and adopt Vertcoin's philosophy and algorithm. But, that clearly is never going to happen. So this is what we have to do. The main, I guess, this ASIC resistance concept is so important because it brings so many other benefits. One is transaction fees. If you look on Bitcoin right now, the reason why transaction fees are so high, it's not because there's loads of people using Bitcoin. It's because all of the miners are spamming the network with useless transactions. Think about it. If the miners have so much of the network hash rate as they do, this concept of fees, which is supposed to prevent you from spamming the network with transactions, simply isn't working because it's revenue neutral for the miners. If they mine a transaction, if they mine a block with transactions in that originate from them, then they don't lose any money. They pay effectively no transaction fee. So by doing this, with Bitcoin, they're able to bump up the transaction fee because it looks like there's lots of transactions in the mempool, but most of them are not
ghosts
from
basically.
real users.
Yeah,
they're like ghost transactions, and they're clearly running some kind of mempool strategy such that it prioritizes like real transactions, which actually give them a net positive from fee, versus these like revenue neutral transactions, which they don't lose anything from, but equally they don't gain anything from. But I mean, they have nothing to lose by doing this because it doesn't cost them really anything, and the extra gain they get from pushing up the transaction fees for everyone else more than makes up for any potential losses due to transactions that maybe get included in other blocks that they didn't mine.
Wow.
All right. Last big thing people want to hear about is stealth addresses. That topic has come up quite a bit. Can you tell us what that's in reference to, and what do you have to say about stealth addresses as it applies to Vertcoin?
Yeah, so I mean, stealth addresses is a feature that we've had since 2014, and it's in the older versions of the Vertcoin wallet. But we wanted to be one of the first, if not the first, to activate SegWit. And in order to do that, we had to sort of negate stealth addresses for a few releases. So now that we're working on like a brand new bespoke wallet that isn't based on Core, stealth addresses will eventually be re-implemented in there. I mean, if you really want to use stealth addresses right now, you can go download one of the older wallets and use that, but the UI UX will be improved significantly for its re-implementation, so I would hold off. But the main point behind them is it allows you to post addresses in public, i.e. on a forum, for example, without essentially de-anonymizing yourself. So by posting the address in public, other users can't tell what funds have been sent to that stealth address.
Very good. Right on. So does that pretty much take care of all the questions in the chat room?
I'm not sure how many more we can fit in. The other thing,
James said he was cool with sticking around, and we've got like 50 seconds before hard break. So if we've got more questions, I want to. Yeah, if James is cool with hanging around, then I definitely want to just keep him and let him answer, whatever the public wants to know, because this is.
We got a lot of questions on mining difficulty and that sort of thing. So when we come back on the Call to Freedom, that's where we'll head.
All right. Well, we'll be right back, and don't forget, call us on the LRN studio line, so you can talk to James too. When we get back on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, December 8th, 2017. Silver is trading at $15.76 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,249 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 7 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $16,804. Antiwar.com reports Saudi warplanes continue to pound the Yemeni capital city of Sana'a at an increased rate on Thursday, while operations on the ground appear to have shifted southwest, with pro-Saudi forces attacking coastal areas held by the Shiite Houthi movement. Reports out of the Quqqa district on the Red Sea coast of Yemen say that pro-Saudi forces have more or less entirely captured the area, which includes a town and a small fishing port. At least 25 were killed in the fighting. The district itself is of limited value, but the push is in keeping with Saudi-led efforts to conquer as much of the Yemeni coast as possible to ensure that shipments of food and medicine into the country are done more or less exclusively under their control. Fishing ports notwithstanding, the Houthi movement has only a single port at Hodeidah, which would need food and medicine imports for 15 million people in northern Yemen. A Saudi blockade, however, allows a tiny fraction of that in. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports Congress passed a short-term spending bill Thursday to prevent a government shutdown as Republicans attempt to reach a budget bill with Democrats by the end of the year. Senators approved the bill by a vote of 81-14 an hour after the House passed it on a vote of 235-193, keeping the federal government open through December 22nd. Representative Mike Simpson of Idaho said a vote against the resolution is a vote to shut down the government, while admitting a short-term funding measure is not ideal. President Donald Trump met with Speaker Paul Ryan of Wisconsin, Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi of California, and Senate Democrat leader Chuck Schumer of New York in hopes of pushing forward negotiations on a 2-year budget deal. Pelosi and other Democrats have stressed including deportation relief for Dreamers, recipients of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival program, in their negotiations. She said, "We will not leave here without a DACA fix." Trump was expected to encourage congressional leaders to keep anything related to DACA out of a budget negotiation while pushing to increase defense spending without boosting non-defense funding, and convince Democrats to agree to his border wall. Trump said, "We hope that we're going to make some great progress for our country. I think this will happen." 2 Florida Republicans said they would vote against any year-end spending bill that did not include an immigration deal. Schumer said those demands were unlikely and a shutdown would reflect poorly on Trump and Republicans. Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system and to fully capitalize on that decision in their fundraising efforts. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com. Reuters reports a federal judge on Thursday sentenced Larry Nassar, the former USA gymnastics team doctor accused of sexually assaulting gymnasts, to 60 years in prison on federal child porn charges that grew out of a sex abuse investigation. U.S. District Judge Janet Neff in Grand Rapids, Michigan, handed down the sentence sought by prosecutors who said there was a link between Nassar's child pornography and his prolific molestation of children, according to court documents. Neff said he has demonstrated that he should never again have access to children. Nassar's attorney, Matt Newberg said he was devastated and remorseful. Nasser pled guilty in July to possessing thousands of images and video of child pornography depicting children as young as infants between 2003 and 2016. Nasser is also set to be sentenced in January in Michigan courts after pleading guilty to additional counts of criminal sexual conduct related to allegations he assaulted girls under the guise of medical treatment. At that hearing, all of the more than 120 victims or their parents will be allowed to give impact statements. Nasser is likely to spend the remainder of his life in prison. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Over 60% of employers are now checking online amateur pornography of potential job candidates. Is it fair to base hiring decisions on an applicant's online porn?
No, this is not fair at all. For instance, if there's a red tube video of my girlfriend slapping me and choking me and riding me, that shouldn't be an indication I'm going to lack leadership in a work situation.
Yeah, but Duncan, it's going to be hard to convince an employer who's masturbating to that video otherwise.
Exactly. My potential employer might see all those videos of my husband tying me up and having his way with me, and then they're going to think that I'm not going to be assertive enough for the job.
I mean, if you don't want to jeopardize the content of your porn, you can always shoot from the eyes down.
Oh, but that's not the same if you cover the eyes. That's where the innocence is.
So am I supposed to leave an orgy just because someone shows up with a camera?
No one's saying you should leave an orgy.
No,
right. So
it's more complicated.
So now, if I go to a party, I wear something like this in case that situation comes up again.
I like that. I actually shoot my porn in sepia tone and make it look old-timey, so if people see it, they'll think it's my grandfather and not
Okay.
This is the Onion News Network.
Never come looking for Opie and me. Tell 'em we're dead, tell 'em we're gone. Me and Opie down by the duck pond.
All right, and we're back here on the Call to Freedom at the last second half of the show.
He said we'd be in Dutch if the sheriff ever caught us smoking that stuff. Don't tell and it don't.
So, I'm sorry. It's like my new favorite song, guys. I mean, that's, if you haven't noticed, we do it now every time we come back in the second half of the show. It's the funniest thing on earth to me. I mean, what could be funnier than a song about getting high with Opie on the Andy Griffith Show? Oh my God, I have such bad taste. I'm sorry. So, we're back here on the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. Second half of the show. We got Tom Gray with us from the beautiful mountains of East Tennessee. And we've also got Aria DiMezio with us from cryptocurrencycheck.com. And we've been joined for the last .org. I'm sorry, hon. And we've been joined by the last 45 minutes by the developer of Vertcoin, Mr. James Lovejoy. Very interesting young man, very inspirational young man. And I have, I don't really have anything bad to say about Vertcoin, which is really not normal. My co-host will tell you, for me to have something that I don't really have anything bad to say about is an oddity in itself. But we've had James on with us, and Tom, you've got a lot of questions coming in from the chat room. We're really not getting anything over here on our LRN.FM studio line. If you want to call into the show, please do go to Skype and contact us through the LRN.FM studio line here at our Liberty Studios in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. But Tom, take it away with some more questions from the chat room.
All right, we've had several questions come in about atomic swaps. When are they coming? Is there going to be a possible atomic swap between Bitcoin and Vertcoin? So I guess for those of us who have no idea what this is about, first off, what is an atomic swap? And tell us about how it works with Vertcoin specifically.
Yeah, so right now when you use an exchange, you're giving your funds to the exchange. They become the property of the exchange, and then they merely give you permission to withdraw them at some point in the future. So what atomic swaps aims to do is, again, decentralize that custody aspect of exchanging, so that two individuals can trustlessly exchange, two different crypto-based assets in a trustless way without, a third-party escrow intermediary. So what that means is, decentralized exchanges ultimately, or at least the settlement portion of the exchange will be decentralized. In terms of when are they coming, well, we've done on-chain atomic swaps with Decred, Bitcoin, and Litecoin several months ago, and the code is available to do that. But the holy grail that we're moving towards is these like Lightning Network off-chain atomic swaps, which will allow you to trustlessly swap coins using Lightning Network channels, which have instant settlement properties, and they don't have to go on the chain. So that's what we're moving towards. In terms of how long that will take, there are currently 4 implementations of the Lightning Network that I'm aware of, are in varying stages of development. Vertcoin, once they've reached the point that it's worth doing, will work on all of them. Currently, we've been focusing on the one that's developed here at MIT, simply because I have obviously great access to the development of that, given that I'm here already. And also, it's developed by the guy who invented the thing in the first place, so I have good faith that he knows what he's doing.
All right, and that we did have a specific question about the the Lightning Network, so I think you just addressed that. Someone asked, as the price of Vertcoin increases, does the difficulty of mining Vertcoin increase, and will that cause higher transaction fees? I'm not even familiar enough to understand the question, so I hope that you can unpack what this user is asking about.
So, generally speaking, yes, that is true. When the price increases, the hash rate also increases, simply because there are more, as you guys like to say, war dollars per mega hash per second per day available. But it doesn't necessarily have to increase. The profitability for everyone could just increase instead. It's like a market equilibrium problem. Essentially, you have like a fixed amount of coins available, and an elastic amount of mining demand available, and it's about finding the equilibrium. If you displace the price, you change the amount of profit that's available to be made, and therefore you shift the market equilibrium of the difficulty, the amount of miners on the network.
Now, speaking of that, there was one thing that we hadn't really covered that I wanted to make sure that we got into, that I've been kind of promoting on my own Facebook page, my own Twitter account, and I've mentioned on the show before, and on Free Talk Live when I work as a co-host on their broadcast a couple nights a week on occasion. The halvening is what they've come to calling it. And I mean, instead of happening on the 12th, I guess it's supposed to be happening within the next 20 hours or so. Could you explain what the halvening is, how it works, how will it affect miners, how will it affect profitability, and how should it affect the cost of Vertcoin in general?
Well, in terms of what it will do to the price, I think it's really impossible for me or anyone else to say. I mean, theoretically, people know the halvening is going to happen, so it should be already built into the price. But crypto markets like to do their own thing, so I don't think I'll bet on that for now. But what it essentially means is, unlike fiat currencies, like your war dollars, they inflate infinitely. So they just print more and more money. The idea is to keep inflation at a constant positive rate in order to coax spending and decrease the value of government debt with time. The sort of one of the selling points, I suppose, of cryptocurrencies that are around at the moment is that I think all of them actually are deflationary. I haven't come across an inflationary coin yet. Something I'm working on in sort of separate research. But in terms of Vertcoin, at least, we have a fixed supply, so there will only ever be 84 million coins in existence. And in order to achieve that, the mining reward, where new coins are generated, has to decrease over time. And it follows the same method that Bitcoin uses, except it halves every 4 years rather than every 2. So we're having our first halvening, 4 years since Vertcoin's creation in terms of blocks created. So at block 840,000, which is estimated to be sort of in around 24 hours' time, the mining reward will halve from 50 vert coins to 25 vert coins until the next halvening 4 years from then, where it goes from 25 to 12.5.
I'm looking here at Bitcoin, and I just did a little bitty an experiment here, and I have around $62 in Dash that was just sent to me that I hadn't I didn't push the confirm button on my phone when I was trying to put it through to Vertcoin, but I guess it was a good thing because the value of it went up about $2.50. So now I can get a little bit more Vertcoin with it than I could have before. But I decided, I was like, you know what? I want to see what would happen if I tried to make this Bitcoin. And I flip it around, and for me to turn that $62 of Dash into Bitcoin, I will send $62 in Dash, and I will get $31 in Bitcoin. Yeah.
Wait, with which service?
It's Changely. I mean, not Changely, but Shapeshift.
Wow. Yeah, well, as I said, you pay for it.
Yeah. Well, but now if I do it but any of my Vertcoin, like when I do like a transaction like that from Dash to Vertcoin, it costs me $1.
Yeah, a big chunk of that.
Matter of fact, let me see. Here, I'll do it. I'll do it right.
Transaction fee. I mean, there's definitely a big problem in the space at the moment. Like exchanges, especially, use fixed fees. I mean, if you go to any exchange, it doesn't matter what the network is doing in terms of load. They charge the same fee that's way above what.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
Amid the catastrophic economic crisis spurred by Tuesday's release of This Christmas, the new holiday-themed album by John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, economic experts told reporters today the Christmas CD has quickly plunged the nation into a double-dip recession.
When investors learned that one-time screen couple John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John had reunited after 35 years for an album of timeless Christmas classics, investors had no choice but to pull money from markets immediately. We were already on shaky ground with the collapse of the U.S. subprime mortgage market and the reversal financial crisis in Europe, but consumer confidence plummeted after Americans saw the new album with a picture of Travolta and Olivia Newton-John holding cups of hot cocoa. We believe that when other countries find out the album features a Christmas song that pays tribute to summer nights, we could be looking at a global contagion. This is the blackest day on Wall Street in 2 decades.
This is the Onion News Network.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies!